Gra, Ehu, and whatever the geck say. Welcome back to another episode of No Man's Sky pre-next bucket list. Going to do things a little bit differently today. Going to do a tour of my base and other stuff. And I have some wild speculation on what's coming up for next. I'll do that towards the end, but should probably do a recap of not only what's happened so far in No Man's Sky, but what's been going on in the Waking Titan ARG. But if you want to skip ahead to the wild speculation, go ahead about 7.5 minutes. Now I sound like Brian Paul from Without Parole. Roughly 8 goddamn minutes. Anyway. First up, I'll describe my base a little bit. I found a really toxic planet because I wanted to do some liquid explosive crafting. And later on, while building the base, I finally got all my blueprints for the stasis device, so I started converting the farm over into that. So I didn't quite make all the liquid explosive products that I wanted to, because it was far more profitable to make stasis devices. The toxic planet I called social media because, well, you can guess why. And it's in the Atavar region, which is one region below the galactic hub number 2. Actually, I think it's 2 regions below the top of the tree, or 2 regions below the galactic hub 2. It's about 780 light years from the top of the tree. You'll see its relationship to the galactic hub later on in the video, and you'll also see my portal address later on in the video. I picked this base because it's about 2 minutes away from a portal. Also later on in the video you'll see my ships, my freighter. Don't really have a S-class freighter or S-class fighter. I'm happy with what I got. I'm still missing some blueprints. I would really like to get more blueprints. So without further ado, let's do the recap. We awake crash-landed on a planet with no memory of who we are, where we are, or even what we are. Our spacesuit, later to be revealed as Telemon, protects us, but does not guide us. Our journey is one of discovery. Through ancient monoliths and alien encounters, we learn of 3 dominant species: the warriors Vy'keen, the greedy and hedonistic Gek, and the inquisitive sentient AIs known as Korvax. A roaming battery of policing automatons, known as Sentinels, also inhabit every meter of the known universe. No one knows where they came from or why. We repair our ship and set to the secrets of the universe. Soon, we learn of previous travelers that had a mission much like our own. Through conversations with them, we find that this universe is but a simulation. And in all of our encounters with artifacts and aliens, ancient and current, there is one common thread: the Atlas. Revered as some as a god, reviled as others as a captor, the Atlas predates the universe and can control the entirety of this creation. It is as mysterious as it is powerful, and it is dying. There are 2 others studying the Atlas, Polo and Nada, who seem to exist both in and outside of this universe. Do they have answers they are not telling us? Okay, now that's just a super bare bone description of No Man's Sky. There's so many things so much lore that I didn't even touch on. Like the Vy'keen War and the Sentinels, Harkin Null, Gek destroying Korvax Prime, the Traveler leaving a message for themselves at the abandoned buildings, the crashed freighter lore, the 16-minute countdown. There's so many other things going on. But let's move on to the Waking Titan ARG. Summarize that. It started with the Waking Titan website coming online. By solving puzzles, glyphs are unlocked and a command line interface is opened. Through this, other websites are opened. Atlas Foundation, a mysterious benefactor that is determined to unravel the mysteries of the universe. The other websites are under the umbrella of Atlas. Myriad, specializing in satellite communications, data storage, matter transfer, and magnetic field projection. Echo, AI derived from voice samples. Superlumina, data transmissions into the past. Multiverse, cryptically listed as bending the laws of physics. We also heard from Elizabeth, CEO of Atlas through video and PDF docs, and Emily, a ham radio enthusiast through video and forums. Teases of images from the 1.3 update were also revealed this way. Live drops with further clues were also introduced into the game. The simulation was identified as Loop 16, a simulation designed to predict the future. At the end of Phase 3, we voted on whether a digital entity should exist. It was also revealed that Emily and Loop 16 were the same. Phase 4 is where the rabbit hole exploded, and it's still going on. Loop 16 used all the processing power in Beijing, and Atlas tried to contain it. Loop 16 seemed to also infect Myriad satellites. A new partner was revealed, WearTech, a company that makes a VR-like device that interacts with dreams. Wear even showed up in the No Man's Sky Next update teaser. The ARG now revolves around finding Ware's secrets from Dr. Zhang and helping Arnaud, a game designer, out of a comatose state. Zhang reveals that there have been deaths involved and subjects are now unrecoverable. Major Sophie Dubois suggests to Elizabeth that Ware is corrupting Loop 16's precognition and Myriad. During this time, more employees are also sent to Beijing, Zhang is captured, and Arnaud is recovering. And Emily is speaking to us again. Captain James Harry is obstructing access to Myriad's files by using cryptic puzzles, and he has two sergeants watching the SATCOM's command. The Beijing facility is closed after all 14 Dreamers died on Ware Disconnect. Emily wants us to protect Ware, and it, along with her, are in the Myriad cloud. A Sacramento facility is breached, and 12 Dreamers are found. After that, Elizabeth is apparently killed in an explosion, and Sophie is now in control of Atlas. Sophie wants our help waking the 12 Dreamers. Now that's everything up to date as of June 21st. Everything on the ARG. When I say everything, that's just the lore. That's not including all the puzzles. It's not including the Ware dev kits, the books and audio cassettes mailed out, the Atlas passes, and good lord, the puzzles. Now, on to the wild speculation. Some of this is in note form, some of this is fully fleshed out, so bear with me as I fumble through this. The ARG lore is extensive. Why would they create all of that and not incorporate it into the game? I believe that the lore of the ARG ties directly into the lore of the 1.5 update. Some of the things we know for sure: Atlas Foundation, comprised of Ware, Myriad, Superlumina, and Multiverse. I think that this tech has showed up in the game. Atlas Foundation obviously would be Atlas in the game. And let's see, Echoes, that would be the Korvax. The Korvax speak digitally. They record their souls, for a better word, digitally, just like Echo does. They take their voices, make an AI out of it. But the Korvax, their speak is almost like a modem handshake. So they're transmitting data literally when they're speaking. Kind of the reverse of taking data from voice. Let's see, Myriad and possibly Multiverse with the Gek, because in the older lore, the Gek had a bit of sorcery to them. They would do magic rituals. Superior technology can always be perceived as magical. They're making matter appear and disappear. They're bending the laws of physics, as was Multiverse's motto. Superlumina. This is where it gets kind of weird, because they're transmitting data into the past. Loop 16 is predicting the future. So is a simulation predicting the future even needed when you can actually get direct data from the future sent back to the past? Might be something to show up later in the game. Oddball things. Harry, I believe, is behind all the puzzles in the transmission towers. I believe that Polo and Nada are the two sergeants that are overseeing the SATCOM command, because they both exist in and out of the game. And yeah, freighter lore. In the Freighter lore, it mentions, well, a lot of things are mentioned in the Freighter lore, but they mention that 12 had died. Well, we've got 12 Dreamers we're trying to recover right now. And when they're pulled out, wouldn't that essentially be them dying anyway? So whether we save them or not, they died in the game. And also, those 12 Dreamers are not of the three races. None of them are Gek, Vy'keen, or Korvax. And speaking of those, the three races, I believe the races are also simulations within the simulation. When you run a simulation, you're trying to get an outcome. Whether it's predicting the stock market, whether Russia's going to go to war with us, or what kind of tech is coming out. Those are all, or science predictions, like physics models. So we've basically got market, war, and science, which would be the Gek, Vy'keen, and Korvax. Sims need outcomes. They also need variables. Yes, so a sim simulating something needs to have an outcome, a reason for the sim running, and it needs current data. So, do the monoliths input the variables? Are we the variables? There has to be variables introduced into the sim. And we don't know what outcome is. The other interesting thing is Sentinels seem to police the variables. Whenever anything changes, they freak out. Was the Sentinel uprising in the previous iteration? Yeah, I believe that was in Loop 15, and possibly Telamon created the Sentinels. Okay, now we're going off the deep end even more. I also believe that Emily is MLE. She is a living echo of Elizabeth. I have absolutely no proof on this. It's just something I believe. And is Sophie trying to control Emily through No Man's Sky? Not through Loop 16, but through the game. Atlas equals Emily. No, not yet. And if she wakes up, maybe she will take over the Atlas. Maybe the Abyss will take over the Atlas. I remember reading an older lore about the Abyss, which is basically a mirror of Atlas, which makes sense because when you back up data, or dead data gets stored. So all that dead data is the Abyss. It's also the world of glass. And mirror server, kind of a play on words. Sean talked about mirrors, and that's glass. So you've basically got, it would be like a digital autopsy room. You've got like digital zombies in the Abyss. So now what if the Abyss took over Atlas? Then we'd have some real H.P. Lovecraft stuff going on in the game, which I would really dig. Speaking of H.P. Lovecraft, Nyarlathotep, which is Older Gods, one of the Elder Gods from H.P. Lovecraft. He is described in a Wikipedia page as gathering followers who then lose connection to reality, trying to bring about the end of the world. See how that fits in? And the last thing I got is the ARG is all from the future, from Superlumina. We can prevent the death of the 12, the 14, and Elizabeth by breaking the loop before it begins. Which, think about it, makes sense. They can transmit data into the past. Data could be PDF documents, they could be audio files, they can be video files. These are all things that we've gotten through the ARG. Now you ask, what about the live drops? Well, they could have contacted someone in the past through voicemail and had them get these things together for the live drops. There's really nothing physical from the future or nothing physical that's been getting in the live drops. Even the cassettes was data on physical media. That's about all I got. Yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, hope it wasn't too crazy for you.